Major Chris Boileau, керівник канадського військового проєкту Unifier в Україні, поділився з нами про здібність та хоробрість українських вояків на полі бою в Україні.
Вітаємо вас на українській телемережі «Контакт». Якраз маємо надзвичайну нагоду мати тут керівника проєкту Unifier, Major Chris Boileau, Task Force Commander of Operation Unifier. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
And considering the current wartime situation in Ukraine, could you advise us and suggest what do you think is the best thing that Canada is doing for Ukraine right now in a military sense?
So over the past year, the Ukrainian people have shown themselves to be extremely motivated, dedicated, resilient. Coupled with Western technology, whether that be weapons, vehicles, resources, they've shown to be an incredible fighting force. Canada has the ability with our international partners in order to be able to provide that extra momentum on top of the Ukrainian spirit that really is galvanizing the counteroffensive for the spring.
Major Chris Boileau, there's been talk about also a benefit for Canada, a certain learning from the Ukrainian forces in terms of the hybrid type of war that's happening. What is it that Canada's getting from this situation and learning for its own forces?
Certainly, because education in this conflict is not a one-way street. We're training, we're teaching our counterparts within the armed forces of Ukraine, but we're taking just as much back from them. We're taking their lessons learned from the battlefield, especially in the sense of dealing with drones, dealing with a pervasive threat of having aerial vehicles consistently, dealing with artillery, dealing with cyber warfare, information warfare, as the Russians have shown themselves to be able to operate in a number of different domains. So using computers, using electronics, and how the Ukrainians have dealt with that, those are all things that we are taking and we're feeding back to Ottawa in order to be able to support our own armed forces.
At the beginning of this war, there was a big call for air support, for an air umbrella over Ukraine. Where does that stand right now? I know there's certain talk about certain military, certain jets. Is that something that you think is going to happen sooner rather than later?
I can't comment on the political will behind that. There's obviously a number of considerations, both strategically and politically across different nations as to whether or not that's going to be feasible. But in terms of air defense, Canada, the United Kingdom, the United States, Germany have all put forward significant aid packages in order to support that. Canada specifically has also committed approximately $400 million in order to provide NASAMS, which is a larger air defense umbrella that will be a cohesive part of being able to protect Ukrainian civilians, infrastructure, and military.
Major Chris, you've sort of answered it in a sense, but some of the holdback or the strategic holdback in terms of equipment, the Ukrainians, maybe they're not trained enough on our equipment. How do you see that now? It seems like every hurdle has been passed. How do you feel the Ukrainian forces? How are they understanding? How are they adapting and adding even their own technologies to the equipment that's being given to them?
Absolutely. The Ukrainians have shown themselves to be extremely agile, flexible. They have taken to new education, technology, capabilities, and turned it into their own over a very short period of time. My clearest example of this would be our donation of Leopard tanks. Within a 30-day course, Ukrainian soldiers who were previously been using T-55s, T-64s, T-72s have been able to pivot and use arguably some of the best Western equipment that there is on offer. And they've shown themselves extremely capable of being able to take, listen, and then perform with that. Because quite frankly, they understand the time, the pressure that they're under, and that, for better or for worse, has actually made them extremely good students.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. I know you have an event to go to. And, дорогі глядачі, це надзвичайно цікава розмова з Major Chris Boileau, який був керівником проєкту Unifier в Україні. Дуже вертаємося до вас відразу після наступних реклам. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Slava Ukraini.